Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Kirby. The 2013 National Scout Jamboree gets underway Monday, July 15th at the Summit in Fayette County. Approximately 40,000 scouts and their leaders will be here in southern West Virginia from across the nation and around the world. Local, state, and federal officials have been preparing for this big event for more than 2 years. Many questions are being asked about the National Jamboree, including what will the scouts be doing? Exactly who will be attending the Jamboree and how will they get here? What about security measures? Will the general public have access to the Jamboree grounds? And what about the traffic? Recently, I had the opportunity to sit down with 3 of the scout leaders to talk about the Jamboree and to get some answers to many of your questions. I talked with Gary Hartley, the Boy Scouts Director of Community and Government Relations, Russell Smart, the 2013 National Jamboree Program Team Leader, and Jack First, who is with the Summit. I think you'll find the interview very informative, and it should give you a much better idea of what this National Jamboree is really all about. Gary, let's get started with something pretty basic. For those people out there that may have been in a cave for the last couple of years or hiding under a rock, exactly how do we describe the Boy Scout Jamboree?
The Boy Scout Jamboree is much like the Olympics of scouting. You have scouts from all across the country that get together and form provisional troops. So councils put together some of their best scouts into troops, and they come from across the country to a large gathering that's held once every 4 years. And that gathering now, the permanent home for the National Jamboree, is going to be here in West Virginia at the Summit Bechtel Family National Scout Reserve.
These scouts are coming from all over the United States. Are there qualifications? What do they have to do to be able to attend the Jamboree?
They need to be a first-class scout and certainly a scout in good standing with their local troop, and then they apply and they get put into a troop from the council that actually then comes to the Jamboree.
Now, since I mentioned they're coming from all over the country, do they come in their particular troops from certain states, or do they hook up with other scouts and meet somewhere and come together as a group that way? How do they get here? How are they coming?
Okay. They are in troops that are sponsored by their local councils, and those troops then are put together and they come from their respective states, from their councils in that state to here to West Virginia.
Okay, now tell us a little bit, for the people that are listening, the difference between a council and a troop.
Okay, a council is usually a geographic area within a state, and it has then a lot of these scout troops report to the council. The council then reports up to to a region, and then the region reports to our national office. So we kind of divide up and break it down that way. But the councils are the group that organizes the troops that come to the Jamboree.
This Jamboree, for the most part, is going to be taking place at the Summit in Fayette County, although, and we'll talk about this a little later, the scouts will be able to go out into the various communities in our area and be doing some different projects. But this isn't something that happened overnight. Jack, you started on this thing quite some time ago. Tell us how it all got started and how this thing works and why here.
Well, happy birthday, West Virginia. You guys are 150 years old, so we're glad to be here. Now, this project started in earnest really in 2008 when the Boy Scouts of America decided that they would seek a permanent National Jamboree site. We retained a site selection firm, and in 2008 we received 88 different sites from 28 different states. So it was a very competitive process. In that process, West Virginia distinguished itself. And the folks that live here understand why. I mean, it's the New River Gorge, it's mountaintop living, and it's an opportunity to do just about everything that you can imagine in the great outdoors in a mountaintop experience between 1,800 and 2,300 feet above sea level. And it turns out that it is the master's degree of an outdoor experience that you have here in West Virginia, and we're particularly proud to bring it to our scouting community at the Summit.
This isn't just some little campsite we're talking about either. This is a pretty large area, right?
It's 11,000 acres, and this is a must-see and do destination. A campsite would be completely an understatement. We will hold our National Jamboree here once every 4 years. We'll be back in 2017, and then we'll hold a World Jamboree in 2019. So we'll have 50,000 scouts and scouters from around the world, probably 170, 180 different countries, that will descend on the summit in southern West Virginia.
All right. Well, with their arrival, they're going to be looking around and saying, gee, what can I do? I'm imagining that they're very much like all kids in this world these days. Gee, what can I do? I'm bored, this and that. But I think that there are going to be quite a few things they're going to find that are going to keep them busy. And I'll ask Russell about that. Russell, what are some of the things these scouts can expect to see and some of the things they will be able to do when they visit the summit for the Jamboree?
They're not going to be able to do it all. That's the main thing. There'll be so much and so many different choices, and it's all about choice. These young folks like to have choices, and we're going to give them literally dozens of choices every day of things they can do that are exciting, different. Some things they probably have done before, but not at the intensity that we're going to offer them the opportunity to do it here at the summit. Some things they've never tried. There are a lot of kids out there that have seen skateboarding, for example, and always maybe wish they had the opportunity. Well, at the summit, they'll have the opportunity to try it out. And our staff is trained to assess the young person when they show up at the activity venue, to assess where they're starting from. Do they have any skills, or is this something brand new? And based upon what their skill level is, then they'll have the opportunity to do it. And our goal is that when they leave that venue, they will have skills they did not have when they came to that venue, whether they came complete beginner or they became as an intermediate level of proficiency. When they leave, they'll have better skills and more skills.
As these scouts are involved in various projects during the Jamboree, will they still remain with their own troops, with the group that they came with, or will they have the opportunity to meet a lot of kids from all over the country?
Absolutely. They'll meet kids from everywhere, and not just from all over the country, but from all over the world. We have 25 countries outside the United States that are also sending scouts to this Jamboree. And they will, well, about 350 in number, and our scouts will have the opportunity to meet those scouts and get the chance to do things with them, as well as scouts from all around the United States. And Gary was mentioning earlier about how these groups are assembled. Something brand new for the summit and the first National Jamboree that we're doing here is we have a program in Scouts called Venturing, which is co-ed. And that's open to young men and young ladies, 14 of age and up. This is the first Jamboree where we will have venturers participating at the Jamboree. So we'll have co-ed, girls and guys, that will be part of the Jamboree experience, and that's brand new for the Jamboree at the summit.
Boy, it sounds exciting. And speaking of excitement, I know it's always been very high on the list of any scout to be able to earn a merit badge of whatever the field of interest might be. Are these kids going to have the opportunity to pick up a merit badge or two while they're at the Jamboree?
Of course. We always have merit badges. We will offer somewhere around 40 to 50 of our merit badges. We have well over 100 now that are available for the young people. And they'll have the chance to work on some of the requirements. They may not finish that merit badge, but they can do some of the requirements and then finish it up when they get back home. Or in some cases, scouts will come to the Jamboree having done part of the requirements, and they'll finish it up here at the Jamboree. And we're introducing some new merit badges, two particularly. One is a mining, which is we had at one point in our history of scouting, but we're bringing back a mining merit badge. And where else better to do that than in West Virginia with the long history of mining here. And then one that the summit is all about is sustainability. You hear a lot of today about going green and doing things in a sustainable way. Well, we're introducing brand new, first opportunity to earn it at this Jamboree will be Sustainability Merit Badge. And that will now be one of the alternates to earn the Eagle Scout Award, will be to work on and earn the Sustainability Merit Badge. And the summit is all about sustainability, so there could be no better place to introduce that merit badge and have the chance to earn it than right here.
You talked about all the activities, and in particular, you even mentioned it would be impossible to do them all. But how did you make a list? How did you finally decide what you wanted to offer during this Jamboree? And is this Jamboree much like those in the past, or have you come up with some different things?
We have some of the old favorites, but the best way to find out what to do is to ask your customer. And our customers are these young people that are coming to the Jamboree. So we ask our customer, what would you like to do at the Jamboree? And they told us over the past several years, and we've tried to incorporate most of the ideas and the suggestions that we had from them in that. So just to kind of run down a few of the areas, we've got aerial sports, which includes doing canopy tour, which the people here in West Virginia know what that is, but around the country it's still fairly new. So we've got canopy tours, we've got zip lines, we've got rock climbing, we built some artificial, but they look real, climbing walls on the site, bouldering, we've got challenge courses, which are the high ropes and low ropes type events. So all that's under aerial sports. We've got target sports. We have a world-class shooting venue. In fact, it's the second best in the world right here at the summit for young people that want to try out different kinds of shooting. We're going to shoot shotguns, we're going to shoot pistol, we're going to shoot high-powered rifle, all of that there, and also archery. And some new events, one called Sporting Arrows, which is sort of a sporting clays but done with bows and arrows. So that's all in target sports. We've got aquatics. We've got several lakes on property. We'll do kayaking, we'll do dragon boats, we'll do stand-up paddle boarding. We'll do just a fun event called Water Reality where they go out and play on different obstacles in the water. So that's all part of aquatics in addition to scuba. And we have pools set up on site and they can try out scuba. So it's not a deep dive in a lake situation, but it's an introduction to scuba. So we've got that. So that's in the aquatic sports. Then we've got what we call extreme sports. Now that's where it really gets good for these young folks. They love to do things that have an adrenaline rush, and so we do skateboarding, we do BMX, we do mountain boarding, we do cross country and downhill mountain biking. So all of that falls into that category of extreme sports. And then we've got conservation activities, doing hikes, geology, bird watching, photography, landscape painting. And there's a lot of interest among our young people in doing some of those type events as well. So all of those, in addition to all the exhibits and displays and the merit badges and all of the other things that they can do, all of that is part of our program.
It sounds to me like boredom will not be an option.
Absolutely. There is no possible way that they can ever be bored in this situation. Then we've got technology. We have an event that we introduced in 2010 at our last Jamboree, and that's called Technology Quest. And we have about 30 or 35 corporate and nonprofit and educational partners like West Virginia University that are going to come on site and set up exhibits and do things like DNA testing, cryogenics, robotics. And that's in an area we call the cloud, in our technology quest. And that's going to be an exciting, so everybody will get the chance to do those activities if that's something that interests them. But it all goes back again to choice. We're going to lay out all of these opportunities and programmatic activities and events, and then day by day by day, the young people can decide, what would I like to do today? Some of it they'll come pre-scheduled, so they'll know that on Tuesday or Wednesday they're going to be doing this particular activity, but other times it's just open choice to do what appeals to them that day.
Gary, let me ask you, because now so many people are hearing this and they're becoming envious. I can just see the expressions on faces as well. I sure would like to be involved. I'd like to do some of that stuff. What about the general public? If they would like to come out and see these activities, see the things that these scouts are doing, will they have the opportunity to do that? And if they do want to do that, what should they do?
Yes, we will. In the Jamboree site, we have an area called Summit Center. That's going to be about 100 acres. It'll be like the Magic Kingdom of scouting, and that's going to be open to the public for 7 of the 10 days. We're not going to have it open when the kids arrive or when they break down their tents, but 7 of the 10 days, that'll be open for the scouts to be in it, as well as the visiting public. And we're going to call it a taste of scouting. All those things that the scouts can do, we're going to have samples of that in Summit Center for the visitors. So they can do some zip lining, they can do the mountain biking, the canopy tours, they can see the merit badges. There'll be 2 large gateway areas full of all kinds of displays. And if you go to visitjambo.org, there's all the information on the scheduling and where you can get the tickets for that. So visitjambo.org on the web is the place to go to sign up and come in as a visitor.
Let me mention that again, and we'll try to mention it several times. It's visitjambo.org. Visitjambo.org. And there really is just a lot of information that you can find there. There's information there about visitors' passes, some of the restrictions that might apply, but it's all right there, and I think you'll find it rather fascinating. I want to get back to Jack for a second. Jack, can you compare the summit and the site for this Jamboree maybe to previous Jamborees and why this may be better or maybe not as good, or how does it compare to some of the other places where Jamborees have been held through the years?
Well, the magic of Jamborees are the folks that come, the customer and the fellowship that occurs when you descend on a site in the great outdoors and spend 10 days together doing activities and learning about one another and sharing experiences and doing the outstanding program that Jamborees offer. I haven't been to a ton of Jamborees, but I've been to several Jamborees at Fort A.P. Hill and several World Jamborees, and I can tell you unequivocally that there has never been a Jamboree thrown in this fashion ever. So we're very excited about bringing this outstanding venue where the great outdoors and technology merge with the diversity of opportunities for our customer to have just a wonderful time picking the event that they want to do. But what's important that I'd like to reiterate on is that this is just the grand opening of the summit. The summit's going to be a 24/7, 365-day-year outdoor venue where technology and the great outdoors merge. And we've installed the hardware for this project. It is now time for us to install the software. So you can be looking for continuous programming and opportunities for us to serve more youth 365 days a year once the Jamboree is over.
When you looked at this property and you were considering the future and thinking about the Jamboree, were you looking at a place where you would not be limited and would be able to grow for many, many years?
Absolutely. To make the kind of investment and to create these really 11 world-class venues that are the best anywhere in the world, we need to share that. We need to be inclusive, and we need to offer that to America. And what's great about this site is we're 10 hours away from about 65% of the population of the United States. And so it's Scouting's hope that we'll basically reintroduce ourselves to the American family, to the kids, to these communities, and have them come and experience a taste of the summit.
From a population standpoint, it's a great location, but at the same time, we're very much in a rural area. Gary, has that caused a problem? I mean, when I first heard the Jamboree was going to be here, and after my experiences as a kid many years ago attending a Jamboree, I thought, how on earth will we get everyone in here? I mean, we don't have a major airport. It's not like there's a big bus line coming through. These kids are going to be coming in from all over the nation. Has that presented a lot of problems just getting in and then getting them out of here?
This site was selected because of its availability to major highways. This was the best of both worlds. When the Boy Scouts were looking around the country for a permanent home for the Jamboree, they wanted best of everything. They wanted a piece of land that had all the outdoor things that scouting is known for. They wanted to have the rock climbing, the mountain biking, the camping, the hiking. Here in West Virginia, the whitewater rafting. And the piece of land that we purchased and have built on is 10,600 acres. It's surrounded on 3 sides by the New River Gorge National River, which is over 70,000 acres of public lands that we can get outdoor and do all kinds of great activities. But on the front side, we also had what the Scouts were looking for to throw a Jamboree, and that's a 4-lane highway running water and electric. And right here in West Virginia, you've got 2 major interstates that cross, 64 and 77, east, west, north, south. They meet right here in Beckley, West Virginia. You come right up Route 19. You can stand on the property, throw a stone, and hit a 4-lane highway. And so you talk about a great location where you can have, great road access, and at the same time be right up against the national park area with all the great outdoors. So we really think this property is going to work out very well for us. For the Jamboree, the Scouts will come in buses, and we'll actually bring them onto the site that way. So the number of vehicles is being greatly reduced because of the way we're bringing the buses onto the site.
Okay, and then once they get here, we've talked a little bit about some of the activities, but there are also some service projects involved where these kids can really give a little back to the communities in the area. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We're committed to giving back to this community. West Virginia could not have been more welcoming and hospitable to the Boy Scouts to allow us to come and put this project here in this beautiful state, and we want to give back. And so from the very first big event that we're doing, we're making service back to this community part of the program that we're offering. And this is brand new for a Jamboree. Typically in the past Jamborees, the Scouts have just stayed on site once they come and not gone out into the community. But here in West Virginia, every person that's part of this Jamboree as a participant will get the opportunity on one of 5 days to go out and do a service project somewhere in the 9 counties that are surrounding this site. These have been vetted through a wonderful organization that you have here in southern West Virginia. We've worked with them over the past 2 years to vet 300 different projects that we're going to send our kids out to work in. And so they'll take a bus, get on the bus early morning, go out to one of these sites, get to spend 3, 4, 5 hours doing actual work, all different kinds. They won't even know until they get on the bus what they're going to do that day. So we talk about, our motto is, of course, what? Be prepared.
Sure.
So our Scouts are just come prepared to go do something that will be of service to some local community. Some of the projects are one-day projects. Some of the projects will last over several different days. So 3 or 4 different groups of Scouts will get to come and do those projects. And they'll do that in their troops as they came to the Jamboree from these local councils that Gary talked about earlier. So we're going to put, if you do the math on that, we're talking about approximately 35,000 people that will be going out and doing somewhere between 3 and 5 hours of service into the local community. So do the math. That's hundreds of thousands of service hours that will be given back to the people of West Virginia, and we say thank you for allowing us to be part of your community, and we want to be a great part of it with you.
Will Scout leaders in turn hook up with community leaders to kind of supervise these kids and show them the ropes when they get to the various communities?
Absolutely. The projects have been, the way we formatted the projects is we're coming to do the work. The local community has had to put together the plans for the project, to mobilize its resources, to raise the funding, to buy materials, or to have tools available. And then when our kids get off the bus, they'll be looking to the local leadership in that local community at that project to say, here's what we need accomplished today, guys. Then our unit leaders and our kids will do the work.
You've got so many kids and thousands of Scouts, but obviously, at least I would think, they're not all going to be going out at the same time.
No, we'll divide it up over 5 days. So we'll have approximately 160 groups of Scouts going out every day in 2 waves. One wave goes out around 7 o'clock in the morning. The next wave goes out about 8:30, right after that. So they'll go out to the early groups, of course, will go to the projects that are further away. The second wave will go to the closer in projects to reduce the travel time.
Are the service projects something that are unique to this particular Jamboree, or is this something the Scouts have been doing at Jamborees for quite a few years?
In looking at the history, we actually, at our first National Jamboree in 1937, was held in Washington. We did some service projects as part of that Jamboree, but since then, this has not been a feature of our National Jamboree. Now, World Jamborees that Jack mentioned earlier we'll be hosting in 2019. World Jamborees typically have had a service component as part of them, but not our National Jamboree. So this is something new for the National Jamboree, at least in all of our lifetimes as Scouters, that we're introducing here at the Summit.
Okay. Speaking of the Summit once again, Jack, if I were to go out to the Summit today and compare it to maybe what was there a couple of years ago, how much has that whole area changed?
It was canopy. It was a mining property and then a timbering property. When we acquired the property, it was 11,000 acres of trees and all canopied in. Today, it still has a ton of trees, but we've procured and improved probably 1,500 acres. But we've put in 50 miles of roads, 50 miles of bike trail, 50 miles of pedestrian trail, 4 lakes, a bridge, and some vertical 336 bathroom couplets and showers. Enough electricity and Wi-Fi to power a city of probably 20 or 30,000 folks on a full-time basis. So we have converted it to be an outdoor laboratory to have a great deal of fun.
Okay. Well, it sounds very impressive. And Gary, I want to get back to you. We've got just a couple of minutes left. Camping is camping, and as far as I can remember back through many, many years, is when kids go camping, you can expect just about anything. We have bee stings, we have snake bites, we have poison ivy. Typical camping experience during the summer. Are the Scouts ready for that sort of thing?
You bet. The motto is be prepared, and we have been working with the state of West Virginia, who has been a great partner on all levels, both in hosting this event, but in preparing us to be what's going to be West Virginia's 3rd largest city. And with that comes all the support that you have for a city. So the safety, the security, the first aid, the medical, all of that's being put in place. And we've got a great support system. We've been working with the state of West Virginia, the Division of Homeland Security, as well as with the West Virginia National Guard. We're getting tremendous amount of support. They've been working with our communities, our local hospitals. We've been running drills and training and refining our plans. So I think we're going to have a really great time. And
now, is this also a true camping experience? I mean, the kids will be in tents and outdoors and the real thing.
Yes, it is. Basically, we've made a lot of flat land for camping, and the troops will come in here, they'll set up their tents, they'll cook their own meals in their campsites, and it will be an outdoor experience.
And not just the kids, Dave, all of our staff and leadership will also be staying in tents. So we're all Scouts together out here at the Summit.
And these kids are going to be cooking their own meals, the whole works, right?
That is correct.
With a little help.
With a little help, yes.
Yeah, I imagine you can find a little something for everyone when it comes to dinner time at the Jamboree. Gentlemen, I thank you so much for your time. We know that you're very, very busy. We wish you great success, and just hope that the people of Southern West Virginia will take advantage of checking out the Jamboree and seeing what it's all about. And if you see a Boy Scout, smile and tell them we're glad they're here. Thank you all so much.
You've been listening to a recent interview with National Boy Scout leaders about the upcoming National Jamboree that starts Monday at the Summit in Fayette County. The parking area for visitors to the Jamboree will be behind the Sunoco station on Route 19 in Bradley. Now, that area is now ready for an estimated 225 buses and 6,000 cars. Visitors will be shuttled to and from the Summit from that parking area. You will not be allowed to drive your personal vehicle to the Summit. Remember, to learn more about the Jamboree, check out the visitjambo.org website. That's visitjambo.org. Approximately 40,000 Scouts and their leaders will be here in Southern West Virginia for the Jamboree. And while for the most part they'll be at the Summit, you may see them involved in various community service projects or enjoying activities in the region. And when you see them, smile and let them know you're glad they're visiting Southern West Virginia. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dave Kirby.